Nice of you to drop in.
Hello people, I am the Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be counting down my top 5 favorite new comic book series. And some series are going to be excluded from this, such as Grace, and Grace has been fantastic, but it's 8 issues in, so it's a little bit past still being a new comic book series. But yeah, let's get into it. Number 5 is Lobo, which was a book that really came out of left field for me. It's been pretty good so far, which was really surprising because I was not expecting to like this book at all. Now, I do disagree with the fact that DC decided to make this Lobo. They should have just made this a completely different character instead of getting rid of the Lobo we all know and love. But nevertheless, they decided to create a new character, and the story for him's been really good. I've really liked it so far. What happens is the first story arc is Lobo has been hired from someone to protect the Earth from 8 assassins. 8 assassins have been hired to kill the Earth, to just destroy Earth, and Lobo's been hired to kill those 8 assassins and stop them from destroying Earth. That's the storyline. Now, along the way, we get a lot of backstory about Lobo, and it's been really cool. I love learning all this new stuff. Why? Because, you know, Lobo is known for being the last one of his race, and the fact that he killed all of his race. Now we learn why he did that, and it's a lot different than before, and I really like it. I thought it was a cool backstory. I'm not going to spoil it. And yeah, it's just been great, and there's all these things in motion, and I love this book a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's not perfect, it's not a fantastic book, but it's just fun, and it's a good book, and I really highly recommend you guys check it out, especially if you're like me and just looked at it as like, nah, that doesn't look good. Some of the art can be but the storytelling is good enough, and it's written by Cullen Bunn, the same guy who wrote Night of the Living Deadpool, and he's done other stuff, but I mainly know him for just some Deadpool story arcs, and he's a really good writer, and it shows with Lobo. Number 4 is Deathstroke, which is written and drawn by Tony Daniel, and it's been really good so far. The art has been fantastic, the writing's been pretty good, and I just really enjoy this book. It's so fun to see Deathstroke going around and doing his thing, and it's really, really brutal, which I forgot to mention about Lobo. Lobo is also really brutal, but the art is much better than Lobo, so the brutalness from it is just like, yeah, it's that much more intense. And Tony Daniel has done great with the art, like I was saying. Like the Batman versus Deathstroke fight, while a little disappointing by the fact that there was no actual victor, the art was great. Like, it was so intense, the two of them fighting, just blood coming everywhere. And the first issue in this, to me, was a perfect first issue. It's all you could ask for a first issue. The rest has been good, nothing really amazing, but I can't wait to see how the first story arc ends. We're not even at the end of it yet, and it's really looking to be good. And the next story arc is really why you should read this book. It's called Deathstroke God Killer. Deathstroke's going to kill a god, and I can't wait to see what happens with that. That's just going to be epic, and this book's been really good so far, and I highly recommend you check it out. Number 3 is Snake Eyes, Agent of Cobra. Now, this book has been really good. It's only 2 issues in. I can't wait for the next issue. It came out in January, and it's just been really good because Snake Eyes finally back in his own book. And books about Snake Eyes are really interesting because in every other comic, you know, you have these thought boxes. Well, with Snake Eyes, you don't know what his motivations are, especially in a book like this, because he's an agent of Cobra. Why is he working for Cobra all of a sudden? We don't know because we're not inside his head. So there's just so much mystery going on. Now, some people may be saying, how do you make an interesting story about a guy who can't talk? That would be a little weird to center it around him. Well, you just have to read it, trust me. There have been so many good Snake Eyes comic books, and this has been really good so far. And just like some of the art's like but when Snake Eyes is moving around, the art actually looks really good. Like the artist does a great job at like showing movement, which is really key to Snake Eyes. And now we found out in the last issue some stuff about the Hawkeye is involved in Snake Eyes versus Storm Shadow is going to happen, and that's always awesome whenever Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow clash. Storm Shadow is one of the coolest villains in comic books. Even though he didn't originate in comic books, in comics, if you read him, he is one of the best villains. He's such an awesome villain, and Snake Eyes is such an awesome hero. And it's just, it's so good seeing Snake Eyes as this agent of Cobra and not knowing what he's going to do. In the first issue, he breaks out Deathstroke, and it's just like, what is going on? So yeah, I highly recommend you guys check that out as well as every other book on this list. I'm going to say the same thing. Number 2 is All New Hawkeye. Now, this book only has 1 issue out so far, but it's that good. It's by Jeff Lemire, the same guy who did Green Arrow Kill Machine and the Green Arrow The Outsiders. He was fantastic on Green Arrow. Now he's moved on to Hawkeye for Marvel, and I just followed him from Green Arrow to Hawkeye, and he's just been great so far with just one issue. The art's pretty good, not as good as Green Arrow's with Andrea Sorrento, but the art has been pretty good. It's different. I like it. It's fine, but the writing is just fantastic. And we're learning this backstory about Hawkeye, and I love it. And just everything about it was just fun and good, and it makes you appreciate Hawkeye. If you're one of those people that's like, why is Hawkeye part of the Avengers? Hawkeye sucks. I hated Hawkeye in the movie. Just read this. Hawkeye sucked in the movie, but in this, he's fantastic. And just, you get to see why Hawkeye is a cool character and why he exists. That's what Jeff Lemire is sort of implementing in this book, why Hawkeye is around, why Hawkeye is cool. And that's really what Marvel needed to do, and they did. And like I said, it's only one issue in, but it's been great so far, and I can't wait for the next issue. That shows how good it is. Just one issue in, and it's on the second spot on my list. Number 1 is Star Wars. Now, Star Wars has been great. It captures the feel of the originals like nothing else has since the original Star Wars movies. It's great, and it's a really good book to start on if you want to get caught up before Force Awakens, because it is canon. And all these Marvel comics are now canon. I have not read Princess Leia or Darth Vader, but I've heard they've been good. And I have read Star Wars, and it's been really good. Like I said, it captures the original. It's what you've wanted from the originals. How you watch those, it's like, I want more. Well, now you can get it in comic book format. It's just great. I don't know how they did it, but they capture the feel of the originals in comic book format. And who wouldn't want that? The art is great. The art is really good. I don't know how the artist does it, but he makes it look like the movies. Like, they all look like they're actors, and everything just looks good, and the art is great, and you get to see a little bit more of a like full-on Star Wars element than even the movies, if you know what I mean. How like the movies, they have to tone some stuff down, while in this it's just art, so they can do whatever they want. You'll have tons of tanks and stuff, and you even have a scene where like Darth Vader takes Luke's lightsaber from him, and it's just epic. Like, Darth Vader just beats the living crap out of Luke, and it's so cool. It just, read Star Wars if you haven't. It's great, and every single other book on this list is really good, and I highly recommend you guys read them. These are some of my favorite books right now, and these are my favorite 4 books that have just started out. But like I said, there are others like Grayson, which has been great, but like I said, it's only 8 issues in, so that's why I didn't mention it. But anyways, my podcast new episode is up on iTunes and Podbean. It's not up on YouTube because I'm having troubles uploading it. I set it to upload, came back 6 hours later, not even 1% of it had uploaded. It was still stuck at 0. So I'm still working on getting it up on YouTube. We'll see. But if you want to listen to it, link in the description to listen to it on iTunes or Podbean. Please do so and rate it on iTunes if you could. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like.